Hi, I'm Nadia Nazir for tvsarawak.com. Today's main news: Malaysia's healthcare system is touted as world-class. The World Health Organization (WHO) is impressed with Malaysia's healthcare system despite only spending barely 4.3% of the gross domestic product on this sector. WHO Regional Director Dr. Shin Young-soo, whose 3-day visit to Sarawak, said Malaysia's healthcare was one of the best among the 37 member states. He said the indicators are life expectancy average of 74 years and infant mortality rate of 6 per 1,000 live births, comparable to developed countries. Dr. Shin said he was also impressed with the medical services and facilities at Mulu Rural Clinic, Marudi Hospital and Miri Hospital. He suggested Malaysia to raise health spending to 6% as some countries spent at least 8% of their GDP. Evolving technologies, rising living standard and demand for quality healthcare and services, he opined, would push the government to do better for the people, particularly in towns and cities due greater social mobility. On the Ebola outbreak, he said Asia would be better equipped to deal with this disease due to the SARS epidemic in the past. He cited strong government control and response experience from SARS and mobilization capabilities in this region compared to African countries. Local youths aged between 18 and 40 now have the opportunity to start their own business thanks to the 15,000 ringgit assistance from Tunas Usahawan Belia Bumiputra program. According to Assistant Minister in the Chief Minister's Office, Datuk Muhammad Naruddin Majais, the program is a pioneer government initiative as outlined by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak in March this year. Implemented by SME Corporation Malaysia and International Trade and Industry Ministry, Naruddin said it had been tailored to encourage more Bumiputra youths to venture into business. So far, 105 applications for the program had been received via online. The implementers were targeting at least 120 Bumiputra youths from across the state to participate. Successful applicants would be given training and guidance besides the financial assistance to kickstart their venture. He encouraged youths from the government and private skills training institutes and community colleges to apply for TUBE. According to him, all applicants will be vetted before undergoing 3 phases of training, namely 7 days of boot camp and basic business workshop, a buddy system by business and financial counselling by panel of experts for a year. School bus operators with buses of more than 25 years old are eligible to apply for the government-initiated scheme of Skim Sewa Beli Pemilik Bas Sekolah Baru 1 Malaysia. This scheme allows school bus operators to be granted a special rebate of 10,000 ringgit from the government while enjoying a subsidized interest rate of only 2% from Bank Simpanan Nasional. Golden Dragon Auto International Sendirian Berhad has been appointed as one of BSN's panel dealers to facilitate and aid school bus operators to opt for new school buses and vans and has assisted many operators to change to a new vehicle in both Sarawak and Sabah. For this scheme, Golden Dragon has given up to 40,000 ringgit in discount from the normal selling price of its products to help school bus operators change to a newer vehicle. Moving on to Malaysian news. The Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah, reminded the people that the role of the Sultan is not only limited to ceremonial and official events, but also to see that the state and its people achieve true peace and prosperity. He said the Sultan carries very heavy responsibility of ensuring that the people in the state could enjoy a good quality of life, but certain politicians just could not understand the role and the power of the monarchy or just refused to understand it because they had a hidden agenda. Sultan Sharifuddin said this at the swearing-in of the new State Executive Council lineup and presentation of instruments of appointment to them at the throne room of Istana Alam Shah. The Sultan said he has never interfered in the state's administration led by the Menteri Besar and would only offer his advice should there exist a major problem affecting the people. As such, the Sultan called on the newly appointed state executive councillors to give undivided support to new Menteri Besar Muhammad Azmin Ali by setting aside their differences and focusing on using their expertise, energy and experience to serve the people sincerely. In a speech at the United Nations General Assembly in New York on Friday, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Tun Razak condemned the violent extremists that have declared an Islamic State in Syria and Iraq. The Prime Minister said that these militants have destroyed lives and communities and have destabilized fragile nations and threatened regional security. The Prime Minister noted that the international community must respond to these extremists not just with force but also by tackling their ideology. Concluding his speech, the Prime Minister affirmed the true nature of Islam as being a religion of peace, one that values coexistence and mutual comprehension and learning. Some 100,000 illegal immigrants are targeted to be sent back by year's end under the voluntary deportation program. The program, which only requires illegals to pay the minimum 300 ringgit compound fine and 100 ringgit for a one-way pass to return home, started on July 22nd. Immigration Deputy Director General Datuk Sakib Kusmi said the department was confident of reaching its 100,000 target. So far, 22,887 illegals have been sent back between July 22nd and September 17th. He explained that Indonesians were the highest number of illegals who opted for the amnesty program with 10,500, followed by those from Pakistan 3,000, Nepal 2,800, Bangladesh 2,300, India 2,000, Sri Lanka 600 and Myanmar 400. Datuk Sakib revealed that the department estimated at least 3 million illegal foreigners were still in the country, with hotspots in the Klang Valley, Johor, Perak and Pahang. The new Selangor administration should uphold the water restructuring agreement between the state and federal governments in the interest of the people, said MCA President Datuk Sri Liao Tiong Lai. Datuk Liao, who is also Transport Minister, said new Selangor Menteri Besar Azmin Ali should not review the recently signed agreement as the people wanted a solution to the water issues in the state. Azmin had said in a press conference that while he was not planning to review the water industry restructuring agreement, he would determine if any changes or any initiatives were needed. Datuk Liao added that the people were more concerned about the welfare of the state and promises made to them by the state government. And now to the global front. More than 100 protesters broke through the gates of Hong Kong's government headquarters as a student demonstration against Beijing's refusal to grant the city unfettered democracy turned angry. 6 people were arrested for offences ranging from forcibly entering government property and public disorder to assaulting an officer. Student groups have been spearheading a civil disobedience campaign along with democracy activists all week in protest at Beijing's announcement last month that it would choose who can stand for Hong Kong's top post of chief executive in elections in 2017. Around 150 people pushed into the grounds of the complex late Friday, police said, some scaling a high fence as others outside yelled, "Open the gates." Police repeatedly used pepper spray against the protesters, who used umbrellas, surgical masks and goggles to protect themselves. Around 1,000 protesters had joined the demonstration outside the southern Chinese city's main government complex through the night. Numbers had earlier hit more than 2,000 as secondary school pupils, some wearing uniforms, joined university students. Last month, China said Hong Kongers would be allowed to vote for their leader for the first time in 2017, but that only 2 or 3 candidates approved by a pro-Beijing committee could stand. Britain handed Hong Kong back to China in 1997 under a one-country, two-systems agreement that allows its civil liberties not seen on the mainland, including free speech and the right to protest. Developing community-based tourism is expected to help local residents improve their living standards and promote their cultural values, a senior tourism official said at a ceremony here on Friday in conjunction with World Tourism Day, Vietnam News Agency reported. Director of the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, Nguyen Van Thuan, said that Vietnam valued community efforts in driving the tourism industry. Local residents in major cities such as Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh and Hue have become actively involved in the field, he added. In the near future, the tourism sector will help locals diversify their tourism services and draw in more visitors. Mary Makian, team leader of the EU-funded Environmentally and Socially Responsible Tourism Capacity Development Program, said Vietnam was rich in culture thanks to its 54 different ethnic groups. With this advantage, the country would be able to take the lead in community-based tourism. World Tourism Day is an occasion for Vietnam to show off its potential in developing community-based tourism in a sustainable manner, she added. Vietnam welcomed close to 5.5 million international tourists during the first 9 months of this year, an increase of 9.9% compared to the same period last year, according to the administration. In 2013, Vietnam welcomed over 35 million domestic and 7.57 million international tourists, up by 7.7% and 10.6% respectively year-on-year. ASEAN members discussed formulation of competition policy, and the ASEAN Experts Group on Competition held a meeting in Bali on September 24th and 25th to discuss the process and substantive issues in formulating an effective competition policy and law. ASEAN member states shared their views and experiences on the means to expedite the ongoing drafting and consultation process of the CPL in Brunei, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar and the Philippines, the ASEAN Secretariat said in a statement today. In line with the commitments under the blueprint for the ASEAN Economic Community, ASEAN member states are expected to introduce the CPL by 2015, the Jakarta-based Secretariat said. ASEAN has two choices amid dynamic global and regional changes and growth, said Muhammad Nawir Messi, chairman of the Indonesian Commission for the Supervision of Business Competition and host of the workshop in his opening remarks. He said the choices were either to become a global factory by creating highly competitive production and investment environment, or to become a global mall. The workshop addressed common challenges in enacting the CPL, along with possible approaches to build up expertise and enforcement record of the competition agency. And that wraps up the news for today. I'm Nadia Nazir for tvsarawak.com. Thank you for watching.